I'm the park cat, and I always know who sits down like they hope nobody notices them. Every afternoon, when the light turns soft and gold and the benches start filling up, I make my rounds. I walk the same cracked path near the duck pond, past the stroller moms, past the runners with bright shoes and tired knees, past the old men playing chess under the trees, past the teenagers laughing too hard at something on one phone screen. I move slowly like I belong to no one and therefore to the whole park. Most people see me and smile for 1 second. Aw, kitty. Then they go back to their lives. That is fine. I am not offended. I am a cat. I know how to be scenery. But some people do not look at me like I am scenery. Some people look at me the way lonely people look at small living things. Carefully, quietly, as if they are asking a question they do not want to say out loud. Those are the ones I remember. There is a woman who comes on Thursdays with a paper cup of coffee she never finishes. She wears office clothes, but not the expensive kind. Her shoes are clean, her coat is nice, her hair is brushed, but she sits on the far end of the bench like she is trying not to take up too much room in the world. She scrolls on her phone, locks it, unlocks it, looks at the playground but does not really see it. The first time I jumped onto the bench beside her, she laughed in this surprised little way, like joy had caught her off guard. "Oh," she said, "hi." That hi told me everything. Humans think words hide them. They don't. I know the difference between a casual hello and a hello that has not been used all day. She did not touch me right away. People who are used to being loved casually will pet a cat without thinking. People who are not sure they are welcome move slowly. They hold out a hand and wait for permission, even from something with whiskers and dirty paws. I leaned into her fingers. She almost cried. Not fully, just enough for her face to change for 1 second before she looked back down at her coffee and smiled like it was silly. That is another thing I know about humans. The loneliest ones are usually the most embarrassed by their own tenderness. They apologize for it before anyone asks. They laugh after saying something honest. They say, "I'm fine," in a voice that means, "Please do not make me explain." I see them all the time in this park. The divorced father who comes every other Saturday and checks the time too often before his kid arrives. The retired man who feeds birds too slowly because going home too early feels worse. The woman in workout clothes who looks very healthy and very successful and sits on the bench staring at nothing for 20 full minutes before she starts running again. The young guy with headphones who never turns any music on. The ones who always look like they are waiting for someone, even when no one is coming. That is the strange thing about invisible people. They are rarely invisible because no one can see them. They are invisible because everyone assumes someone else already does. The woman on Thursdays kept coming. Sometimes she brought a sandwich and only ate half. Sometimes she wore sunglasses even when the sky was gray. Sometimes she talked to me like I was an old friend. Not big dramatic things, just little pieces of a life that had nowhere else to go. I had a meeting today that should have been an email. My mom called and talked for 40 minutes and never asked how I was. I almost texted him. One day she said, very softly, "I think I could disappear for a week and only 3 people would notice." Then she laughed right after. That human laugh, the one that comes too fast, the one meant to sweep the truth back under the rug before it makes anyone uncomfortable. But I am a cat. I do not mind uncomfortable truths. I sat closer. She scratched behind my ear and whispered, "You get it, huh?" I do. More than she knows. Because parks are full of people performing aliveness. They come here to be near life without having to explain themselves to it. They push strollers, throw tennis balls, drink iced coffee, take photos of trees like they are having a meaningful day. They wear sunglasses and leggings and university sweatshirts and wedding rings and very convincing smiles. But sadness has a posture. It folds the shoulders in. It makes people check their phones, not because they got a message, but because they need to feel possible. It makes them sit in public places instead of staying home with their thoughts. It makes them watch strangers being loved and pretend it does not hurt. I know that posture well. That is why I choose them. Not the loud ones. Not the ones who call me over for a selfie. Not the children, though they are sweet. Not the couples, though they always think I am a sign of something. No, I go to the ones sitting very still. The ones holding themselves together with coffee lids and routines. The ones who thank me too many times just for sitting nearby. I let them pet me for as long as they need. It is not charity, it is recognition. One cold afternoon she came later than usual. No coffee, no work clothes. Just a sweatshirt, pale face, and that look people get when they have spent too much time inside their own heads. She sat down hard, like the bench had been the only destination she could manage. I jumped up beside her. She did not smile this time. She just put her hand on my back and left it there. After a while, she said, "He got engaged." The wind moved the bare branches overhead. Some kid on a scooter laughed across the path. A dog barked near the fountain. The whole park kept being alive in that rude, normal way the world has when one person's heart is breaking, and everyone else still needs groceries and sunlight and somewhere to walk. She kept her hand on me. "I know it's stupid," she said. "It's been over for a long time." Then she looked down and said the truest thing of all. "I just didn't know I was still waiting." There it was, the twist humans never prepare for. It is not always the leaving that breaks them. Sometimes it is the moment they realize a part of them had stayed behind, still standing at some old emotional doorway, still believing someone might come back and choose them differently. That is the pain I see most in adults. Not loud heartbreak, not dramatic betrayal, just the slow, humiliating ache of discovering they were less healed than they had hoped. She cried then, quietly, neatly, the way adults cry in public when they do not want to become a problem, and I stayed, because that is what invisible creatures know. Sometimes the deepest kindness is not to interrupt someone's sadness, just because you are uncomfortable looking at it. When she finally stood up, she wiped her face, laughed at herself a little, and said, "Thanks for not making it weird, as if I would, as if grief is strange, as if being forgotten by the person you once built private futures around is something unusual. Humans call each other dramatic for hurting over what was real to them. Animals do not do that. We understand attachment, we understand waiting, we understand returning to the same place because something in you still hopes. She comes less often now. Maybe that is good. Maybe she is getting better. Or maybe she found another bench somewhere, another routine, another way to carry herself through the day. But when she does come, she sees me before I see her. And now she smiles right away, a real one. Still soft, still a little sad around the edges, but real. She always says the same thing. There you are. That is what lonely people are really saying to each other, I think. Not hello, not how are you. Just this, there you are. I'm the park cat, and I know who feels invisible. It's usually the person everyone assumes is doing just fine. And sometimes all they need is one small life to walk toward them, like they were never hard to see at all.